Hello students, welcome back once again. Today we are going to solve one more paper of IGCSE grade 10 and the paper is 058042 MJ21. Let's get started. This is actually the most recent paper. A 2.5 liter tin of paint costs $13.50. In a sale, the cost is reduced by 14%. Work out the price of the paint. So in the sale, the price is reduced by 14%. Thus, 13.50 into 14%, which is 1.89. So the discount will be of $1.89. So my price in sale is going to be 13.50 minus 1.89, which is 11.61. Next question. Work out the cost of buying 42.5 liters of paint at this price. See, 2.5 liter paint costs us $11.61 in the sale. So 42.5 will cost us how much? We'll do a simple cross multiplication, which is 11.61 into 42.5 divided by 2.5 into 42.5 divided by 2.5, which is $197.37. Next question. Henry buys some paint in the ratio of red is to white is to green, and the ratio is 2 is to 8 is to 5. Okay, find what percentage of paint is white. Okay, so the paint is divided into some ratios. As you can see, there are total, if I add them, all the paints are of 8 plus 2 10, 10 plus 5 15 parts, and out of that 15 parts, 8 parts are of white. So the percentage of white is going to be 8 upon 15 into 100, which is 53.33, or you can simply write it as 53.3. Henry buys a total of 22.5 liter of paint. Find the number of green paints. Okay, so green paint is 5, which is 5 upon 15 into 22.5. 5 ones are 5 threes are. You can do 22.5 divided by 3, which is 7.5 liters. Next question. Maria paints a rectangular wall. The length of the wall is 20.5 meter and the height is 2.4 meter. Both correct to 1 dp. 1 dp or 1 decimal place means the smallest 1 decimal value is 0.1. So we'll divide 0.1 divided by 2, which is 0.05. Okay. 1 liter of paint covers an area of exactly 10 meters square. Okay. Calculate the smallest number of 2.5 liter tins of paint she will need to be sure that all the wall is painted. So 1 liter of paint is covering 10 meters square of area. Maria has tins of paints and each tin covers 2.5 liter of paint, which means that each tin, or I can write, one tin can cover 2.5 into 10 meters square. Just 25 meters square of area will be covered by one tin, right? Now we are supposed to find the total number of pins she'll need to make sure that all the wall is painted, right? All the wall. So first let me apply the bounds of length and height. Length, the bound of length is going to be 20.5 plus 0.05 will be my upper bound and 20.5 minus 0.05 will be my lower bound. So which is 20.55 and 20.45. Similarly, the height, bounds of height will be 2.45 and 2.35. See students, now I am supposed to make sure that all the wall is painted. So in order to ensure that all the wall is painted, I am supposed to take upper bound of length and height. If I take lower bound, then I'll miss some part. I'll supposed to take the upper bound. So upper bound of area is going to be 20.55 into 2.45. So 20.55 into 2.45, it is 50.3475. Now I have to make sure that all the wall is covered, and each tin covers 25 meters square. So to cover 50.3475 divided by 25, this much area, if I divide it, your answer comes out to be 2.01. So we'll have to round it off, as if I take only 2 tins, it will be insufficient to cover the wall. Thus we'll have to take 3 tins. Next question. The table shows some value for y equals to 2 into 0.5 power x minus 1. Okay, complete the table. Okay, completing the table, let us substitute 0 instead of x. So 2 into 0.5 power 0, just a second, and minus 1. This is 1. Now let's substitute 2. This comes out to be minus 0.5. On the grid, draw the graph y is equals to 2 into 0.5 power x minus 1 for x lying from minus 1 to 2. So we'll draw the graph. See, I have already drawn the graph over here, and the graph looks something like this. This is your graph. The graph looks something like this. Okay, kindly make sure that you draw using your free hand and not use your scale. By drawing a suitable straight line, solve the equation 2 into 0.5 power x plus 2x minus 3.5 equals to 0. Okay, so now we are supposed to draw a suitable line on the graph, and we are supposed to solve this equation. So what is my original equation? My original equation is y is equals to 2 into 0.5 power x minus 1. We will first try to convert this equation into the desired one, or not, I should not say the desired one, into the equation which is given to us in the question, right? So 2 into 0.5 power x, okay, I have this term, I also have this term. Here I have minus 3.5, but in the main equation I have minus 1. So if I want to make it minus 1, I'll have to add 2.5 on both the sides, right? So I'll have to add 2.5 on both the sides, and here I have no term of x. Okay, so we'll shift this term over the right hand side. So here minus 3.5, I'll add plus 2.5 on both the sides, and I'll shift this term of 2x to the right hand side. Thus it will become minus 2 of x. Now if you observe, this equation is nothing but my original equation, which is y. So now y is equals to minus 2x plus 2.5. So now this is my equation. We'll draw a line of those equation. Let's say we'll substitute few values of x. Let's say when x is 0, my y will be 2.5. We'll take x as 1 or even x as minus 1. In that way, we'll take any 3 values of x and we'll get the corresponding values of y, and we'll draw a straight line. See, this is what the line looks like. See, when x is 0, y is 2.5. When x is 1, y is 0.5. Right? Now we are supposed to solve the equation. That is, we are supposed to find the values of x. So we'll see where this curve and the line meets. The curve and the line is meeting at somewhere over here, which is between 1.25 and 1.5. So it is between 1.25 and 1.5. So I am taking average of that. This comes out to be 1.375. So I am writing this x as 1.37. You can also write 1.38. It is also correct. Next question. There are no solutions to the equation 2 into 0.5 power x minus 1 equals to k, where k is an integer. Okay. Complete the following statements. The highest possible values of k is. Okay. So there are no solutions to the equation. Now what is k over here? K is nothing but my y. So what they are asking is, let's say if I draw a line which is passing through the y-axis, or I should say parallel to the x-axis and passing through y. So I have to find the highest value of y for which the line will not intersect the curve, for which the line is not going to intersect the curve. As you can see, if I draw a line above y greater than 3, you can see that this is obviously going to intersect, even though in the graph it seems like it is not intersecting, but this curve is something like this. So my line will intersect the curve, but as you move down, the curve goes something like this, right? So at k equals to minus 1, at the value where k is equals to minus 1, this line will not intersect the curve, thus it will not have any solutions. So my value of k is going to be minus 1. Find the asymptote of the graph. Now asymptote means, right, so find the asymptote. Asymptote means you are supposed to find that when x reaches infinity, then what is the value of y? Or I should say, what is the value of y when x reaches infinity? Let's say you keep on increasing the number of x. Now let's say you take 0.5 power 1. This is 0.5. If I take 0.5 power 2, this becomes 0.25, which is still a smaller number than 0.5. So as you keep on increasing the value of x, this term is going to be smaller and smaller and smaller. Now as x tends towards infinity, so this term 0.5 power x is going to be 0. So 2 into 0 is 0. So when your x is infinity, this equation is going to be y equals to minus 1. So this is my equation of asymptote, y equals to minus 1. Let's move to the next question. Simplify giving your answer as a single power of 7. Oh, this is so easy. 7 power 11, as base are same, power gets add up. This is 7 power 15 minus 5, 7 power 10. This is 42 plus 7 is 49. 49 is nothing but 7 square. Next question. Simplify. Okay. Let me take 5 2s is 10 x power 3 into y power 4 whole cube. So let me take cube on individual terms. Cube of 10 is 1000. Cube of x cube is x power 9. Cube of y power 4 is going to be y power 12. Next question. P is equals to 2 power 5 into 3 power 3 into 7. Q is equals to 540. Write the or find the HCF of P and Q. Let me take prime factors of Q. So 540 will be 270. This is going to be 135. If I divide it by 3, this is going to be 45. Once again, if I divide it by 3, this is going to be 15, 3, 5, 5, 1. So I can write 540 as 2 square into 3 cube into 5. Now HCF means highest common factor. Common. So now what is common in them? highest power which is common, see 2 square 2 power 5, so highest power common is 2 square. 3 is 3 power 3 3 power 3, this is also common, but 7 and 5 are not common, so my answer is going to be 4 into 27. I think that should be 108. So the HCF of P and Q is 108. Next question, find the LCM of P and Q. Okay, LCM means I will take lowest common multiple. So we'll take, initially we were taking the highest power which was common among them, right? Let's say here it was 2 power 5, sorry, the lowest power, sorry, not highest power, the lowest power which was common. Here this was 2, here it was 2 power 5, here it was 2 square. So the lowest power which is common was 2 square. Now for LCM we'll do the opposite thing. We'll take the highest power common. So highest power of 2 here is 5, 3 is 3, 5 is 1 and 7 is also 1. So my LCM is 2 power 5 into 3 square cube into 5 into 7, which is 30240. Let's move to the next question. P into R is a cube number where R is an integer. Find the smallest possible value of R. So what is my P? My P is 2 power 5. P is 2 power 5 into 3 cube into 7. So in order to make this a cube number, I'll first have to ensure that the powers are all divisible by 3. So I'll have to add one more 2 here because this is 2 power 5, and for 7 we'll have to add 7 square. So 2 into 49, which is 98. Thus my R is going to be 98. Next question, factorize completely. Okay, factorize means we have to split the middle term. What is my middle term? Middle term is minus 3. So I have to split minus 3 in such a way that when I add those two numbers I should get minus 3, and on multiplying those two numbers I should get the product of first and last term, which is minus 28. So such numbers are minus 7 and 4. So x square minus 7x plus 4x minus 28. If I take x common, I can write x minus 7. Here I'll take 4 common into x minus 7. So my factors are going to be x minus 7 into x plus 4. Same way I have to factorize this. Okay. Here as you can see, this is a plus 2b square into a plus b. So from here I can take a plus 2b as common. Now what will I be left with? I will be left with 7 into a plus 2b plus 4a. Let me expand the brackets. A plus 2b into 7a plus 14b plus 4a. So my final answer is going to be a plus 2b into 11a plus 14b. Next question. Find an expression of y in terms of x. So we are supposed to make y the subject of formula. Okay. 3 power 2x minus 1 is equals to 1 upon, instead of 9 I am writing this as 3 power 2. Why I am doing this? Because as you can see all the numbers are in the base of 3 except for 9. So just taking it left hand side, so this will be 2x minus 1 into 3 power 2x equals to 3 power 2y minus x. Now let me compare the coefficient as the base are same. So I can write 2x minus 1 plus 2x is equals to 2y minus x. So which is 4x minus 1 plus x equals to 2y. Y is equals to 5x minus 1 upon 2. This is y in terms of x. 5x minus 1 upon 2. The mass mkg of each of 40 parcels in a warehouse is recorded. The table shows the information about the masses of this parcel. Okay. Complete the histogram to show the information. We have been given a histogram which is frequency density versus mass. Now, what is frequency density? Frequency density is nothing but frequency divided by class width. See, the graph of 0.5 to 1 and 1 to 2 is already drawn. First, let us find frequency density of the other three values. Frequency density is going to be frequency upon class width, which is 7.5. Frequency upon class width, this is going to be 3.33. This is frequency upon class width, this is going to be 0.8. Sorry, not 0.2, 0.8. For first also, we'll also have to check for first also. Frequency upon class width is 0.5, thus 8. Okay, so for 0.5 to 1, thus frequency density of 8. Okay, though. Let us draw this graph for 2 to 4, 7.5, 4 to 7, the value is 3.33, and for 7 to 12, the value is 0.8. Always check the value of first graph, because sometimes they give or they draw the graph in scale factor also. So instead of 8, this could have been around what, 16 or 24, something like that. So I have drawn the graph here. As you can see, this is 7.5, 3.33 and 0.8. Next part, calculate an estimate of mean mass of the people. Okay, so mean mass, for the mean mass we'll first need the midterms, and the midterms are from 0.5 to 1, the midpoint is going to be 0.75. Second midpoint is going to be 1.5. Third is going to be 3. For 4 to 7, 4 plus 7 divided by 2, midpoint is going to be 5.5, and for 7 to 12, the midpoint is going to be 7 plus 12 divided by 2, 19 divided by 2, which is 9.5. So let me just multiply 0.75 into 4 plus 1.5 into 7 plus 3 into 10, sorry, 15, 10 and 4. 3 into 15 plus 5.5 into 10 plus 9.5 into 4 whole divided by the total number of parcels, which are 40. So this whole divided by 40. Let me just calculate 0.75 into 4 plus 1.5 into 7 plus 15 3s are 45 plus 55 plus 9.5 into 4 divided by 40. So this comes out to be 3.7875. Okay. Next, a parcel is picked at random from the 40 parcels. Find the probability that this parcel has a mass of 2 kg or less. So let us find how many parcels have a mass of 2 kg or less. As you can see, 7 plus 4, 11 parcels have a mass of 2 kg or less. So my probability is going to be 11 upon 40. 2 parcels are picked at random without replacement. from those with a mass greater than 2 kg. Okay, so greater than 2 kg is going to be 29 parcels, as we have found out that 11 parcels have a mass of less than 2 kg. Work out the probability that one has a mass greater than 7 kg and other has a mass less than 4 kg. So one has a mass greater than 7 kg. So mass greater than 7 kg, the probability is going to be 4, and less than 4 kg is going to be 15. So let's say I am picking a mass or a parcel which is a mass greater than 7 kg. So my probability is going to be 4 by 29 into, now second parcel obviously will have to be a mass 4 kg or less, which is 15 upon 28, right? But what if the first parcel which I pick has a mass of 4 kg or less and the second has a mass of greater than 7 kg? So we'll also have to multiply this probability by 2, as we have to consider both the cases. First was 7 kg or less, or if the first was 4 kg or less. So this is going to be 4 upon 29 into 15 upon 28 into 2, 30 upon 203. A van delivers parcel from a different warehouse. The box and whisker plot shows information about the mass of the parcels in the van. Find the median. Median means the central value. As you can see, the central value is somewhere around here. This is 4.2, 4.4, 4.6, as each division is of 0.2. Find the interquartile range. Interquartile range means upper quartile minus lower quartile. So upper quartile is 6.2 and lower quartile is 3. So 6.2 minus 3, which is 3.2. Two parcels are removed from the van at first delivery. The masses of these two parcels are 2.4 kg and 5.8 kg. So mass is around 2.4 kg and 5.8 kg. Okay, 5.8 kg. So one is above the median and another one is below the median. Okay. Describe the effect of removing these parcels has on the median of the remaining parcels. Okay. See, we are removing a value which is, one is above the median and one is below the median. So the median is not going to be changed. It's going to be same. Median will be same as one parcel was above the median and other was below, right? It's something like this. Let's have 5 values, right? The 5 values are something like this: 2, 3, 9, 12 and 16. Here, as there are 5 values, the median is going to be 9. What if I remove 2 and 12? See, still the central value is 9. So the median is not going to change if you remove one value from left of the median and one value from the right of the median. Next question, find b minus a. So b minus a is going to be 2 minus of minus 3, 8 minus 5 minus 8, which is 5 and minus 13. 2a plus b, this is minus 6, 8 2s are 16, plus 2 and minus 5. So minus 4 and 16 minus 5 is 11. Find modulus of b. Modulus means under root of x square plus y square. So b has a column vector of 2, 5, which is 2 square plus minus 5 square. 2 square is 4, 5 square is 25. So my answer is going to be root 29, and root 29 is nothing but 5.39. Next, a plus kb is equals to 13m, where k and m are integers. Find the value of k and the value of m. Okay, so my vector a is minus 38 plus k times of vector b, and my vector b is 2 minus 5. This is equals to 13 and m. Okay, so let me just expand them. I can write this as minus 3 plus 2k is equals to 13, and 8 minus 5k equals to m. So from here, first let us find the value of k. I can write 2k is equals to 16, therefore k is equals to 8. So 8 minus 5 into 8 equals to m, which is 8 minus 40, which is minus 32. Moving on to the next question. Question number 9. OABC is a parallelogram and O is the origin and M is the midpoint of OB. Okay. N is on point AB such that AN is to NB is 3 is to 2. Okay. OA is equals to P, OC is equals to Q. Find in simplest term OB. So OB is going to be my P. See, this is a parallelogram, so opposite sides are going to be equal. If this is Q, this is also going to be Q. If this is P, and this is also going to be P. So my OB is going to be P plus Q, as both the vectors are in the same direction of my travel. Find CM. So if I want to move from, okay, CM, if I want to go from C to M, there are multiple ways. Either I can go from CB to BN, or I can go from CO to OM. I am going from CO, then I am going to OM. So CO is going to be minus Q plus OM. Now OM is nothing but half of OB, as it is given that M is midpoint of OB. So this is P plus Q divided by 2. Let me take LCM. Minus 2Q plus P plus Q upon 2. So my CM is P minus Q upon 2. Find MN. Okay. So I am supposed to now find MN. So if I want to go from M to N, I am now going from MB and then I am going towards BN. First I am going towards MB and then I am going towards BN. Right. MB once again half of OB, which is P plus Q divided by 2, and BN is going to be 2/5 of BA, because N is divided in the ratio of 2:3. So BN is going to be 2/5 of BA. 2/5 of BA. And what is my BA? As it is written that AB is Q. So BA is going to be minus Q. So P plus Q upon 2 minus 2 by 5 Q. So let's take LCM. 5P plus 5Q minus 4Q upon 10. So 5P plus Q upon 10. Next part, CB and ON are extended to meet at D. Find the position vector of D in terms of P and Q. Okay. So CB and ON, they are extending and they are meeting at a point let's say this is my point D. I'm supposed to find this position vector of D. Okay, so OD I can write it as ON plus ND, right? OD I can write it as ON plus ND. Okay, now let me try to use the concept of similarity. As you can see, this triangle and this triangle, I can prove these two triangles as congruent, sorry not congruent, similar. How come? These two angles are going to be vertically opposite, thus they will be equal. Similarly, these two sides are parallel and this is the transversal, thus these two angles are also going to be equal. Therefore, triangle OAN and triangle DBN, they are going to be similar, and the sides of similar triangle are always divided in a fixed ratio. So if this ratio, if BN is to AN is 2:3, therefore I can write this as ND is to ON is also going to be 2:3. What I can write it as? I can write it as ND is to ON is also going to be in the ratio of O:3. So I can write that 3 times of ND is equals to 2 times of ON, or I can say ND is equals to 2/3 times of ON, right? So let me substitute this value here, ON plus 2/3 times of ON. So this is going to be my 3ON plus 2ON upon 3, which is 5ON upon 3. But what is my ON now? ON is nothing but P plus AN. Now AN is 3/2 times of, sorry, 3/5 of Q. So my ON is going to be 5/3 into P plus 3/5 times of Q. Let me simplify this. I am simplifying it over here. So 5/3 into 5P plus 3Q upon 5. 5 will get cancelled. My final answer is 5P plus 3Q upon 3. Let's move on to the next question. The diagram shows quadrilateral ABCD. Okay. Show that BD is equals to 16.9 centimeter. Correct to 1 decimal place. Okay. This is a non-right angle triangle, so we can use cos rule. Cos rule says, let's say these are my sides A, B and C, and this is the angle theta. Cos rule says A square is equals to B square plus C square minus 2BC into cos theta. So let us apply the same concept over here. A square equals to 16 square plus 19 square minus 2 into 16 into 19 into cos 57. So 16 square plus 19 square minus 2 into 16 into 19 into cos 57. This comes out to be 285.85. But we will take my A is going to be root of this. So root of answer, this comes out to be as 16.907. But we are supposed to find correct to 1 decimal place. So my second decimal value is 0. So my A is going to be 16.9. Calculate angle CBD. Okay. So we are supposed to find this angle CBD. but we don't have the side opposite to angle CBD, which is CD. But we can always find this angle and subtract it from 180 using triangle law. So sine 75 upon 32, sine 75 upon 32 is equals to sine theta upon 16.9. So I can write sine theta as 16.9 into sine 75 upon 32. 16.9 into sine 75 divided by 32, and sine inverse of answer gives us the angle as theta as 30.67, but angle CBD I can write it as 180 minus 75 plus 30.67 plus 30.67 plus 75, and so my answer comes out to be 74.33 degrees. Next question, find the area of quadrilateral ABCD. So area of quadrilateral ABCD can be found out by adding the area of these two triangles. Okay, so triangle ABC, area of triangle ABC will be half AB sine C, where A and B are the sides and C is the angle between the two sides. Thus half into 16 into 19 into sine 57, half 16 into 19 into sine 57 plus half this side is BD I have this side BD which is 16.9, I have this is 32 and angle B also. So 16.9 into 32 into 74 into sine 74.33. Let me just add them. 0.5 into 16 into 19 into sine 57 plus 0.5 into 16.9 into 32 into sine 74.33. The answer comes out to be 387.8. Let's move to the next question. Find the shortest distance from B to AD. Shortest distance from B to AD. Sorry, here the shortest distance is always going to be perpendicular. So this triangle, let's say this is intersecting at point E. So this triangle will look something like this, where this is my triangle A, B, E. This is angle 57 degrees and this is 16 centimeter. So AE I can find it as using sine 57 is equals to opposite, which is AE upon 16. So A is 16 into sine 57. So 16 into sine 57 is 13.8 4. Next question. On the grid, draw the image of triangle T after a translation by the vector 2 minus 1. We are supposed to translate this triangle T 2 units in right hand side direction and 1 unit in the downward direction. But just ensure that this markings are of each line is of 0.5 in y axis. So this is going to be my translated figure. Next, triangle T after a rotation 90 degree about the clockwise, about origin, 90 degree clockwise about origin. See, I have drawn using butter paper, but you can also draw using other ways. Let's say in X, if I have to go to this point, I have to move 2 units in the X axis and 1 unit in the Y axis, right? So now we have to just swap these values. So now I'll move 2 units in the Y axis and 1 unit in the X axis, because this was clockwise. Had it been anti-clockwise, we would have moved towards left hand side, right? We have gone 2 units up and 1 units in the left hand side direction. Okay, so if I have 1 point, I can easily point the other 2 points. This is my rotated figure. Third, triangle T after an enlargement with scale factor -half and center -2, 3. Okay, so the center is -2, 3, right? So I've just joined these 3 lines and the scale factor is of -half. Half is basically, it means that it is going to be shrinked, and minus means the figure is going to be of opposite direction, right? That is, it is going to be turned in the upward down direction. So I have measured, let's say this comes out to be my 10 centimeter. So from here I'll draw half of it, which is 5 centimeter. If this comes out to be 8 centimeter, then half of it, which is 4 centimeter. Same way, we'll plot these 3 points and then we'll join the triangle, and this is what my enlarged figure would look like. Last is, describe fully the transformation that maps triangle T onto A. Triangle T onto A. Okay, it is neither rotation nor, okay, this looks like a reflection in the line y is equals to -x. So this is a reflection in line y equals to -x. Next question. A cuboid has length, width and height as it is. Okay, the diagram shows net of the cuboid. Okay, the ratio of width is to length is 1:2. Find the value of length, width and height. Okay, so if this is the length of the cube, then this is also has to be the length. Same way, this is also going to be my length. Okay, if this is my height, or this is also going to be my width, this is going to be my height. Similarly, this is also going to be my height, and this is also going to be my height. Okay, so I can write that height plus W plus height, h plus W is equals to 20.1. H plus W plus H is equals to 24.1, or I can write it as 2H plus W is equals to 20.1. Now length plus this height plus length plus this height, it is 37.8. So 2L plus 2H is equals to 37.8. Okay, now let me just change it. I have that width is to length is in the ratio of 1:2. Width is to length is in the ratio of 1:2, or I can write it as width is equals to, sorry, twice of width is equals to length. L is equals to 2 times of W. Let me substitute this over here. So 2 into 2W plus 2H is equals to 37.8. 4W plus 2H is equals to 37.8. I have first, and this is my second equation. This equation says 2H plus W equals to 20.2. Let us solve simultaneously. Let us subtract this. 3W is equals to 17.7. So my W is going to be 17.7 divided by 3. Which is 5.9. Okay, W is 5.9. Length is twice of width, so my length is going to be 2 times of 5.9, which is 11.8. And I'm supposed to find now height here, so I have 4 times of width. 4 times of width plus 2 times of height is equals to 37.8. So 2H is equals to 37.8 minus 4 into 5.9, which is 23.6. So my H is going to be 37.8 minus 23.6 divided by 2, which is 7.1. So my height is going to be 7.1 centimeters. Next question. The diagram shows a solid pyramid with a rectangular base ABCD. E is vertically above D. Angle EDC is equals to angle EDA is equals to 90 degree. AB is 18, BC is 15 and EC is 24 centimeter. The pyramid is made up of wood and has a mass of 800 grams. Find the density of the wood. Okay, so density is nothing but mass upon volume. We have mass, but we are supposed to find volume. Volume of pyramid is given to us. It is 1/3 of base area into height. So what is my base? My base is nothing but a rectangular base. So area of the base is going to be 18 into 15. Okay. So for volume, area is 1/3 into base area, which is 18 into 15. But we don't have the perpendicular height. So first we'll have to find that height. See, if this is 18, this is also going to be 18 centimeter because it is a rectangle. We can find this perpendicular height D using Pythagoras theorem. So my DE is going to be under root of 24 square minus 18 square, because D square plus 18 square is equals to 24 square. So my DE is going to be under root of 24 square minus 18 square. So my volume is now 18 into 15 into under root 24 square minus 18 square into, sorry, divided by 3, which is, my volume is going to be 1428.705, and my density is going to be mass upon volume 800 upon the answer. So 800 divided by answer is sorry, 0.56 gram per centimeter cube. Next, calculate the angle between BE and the base of the pyramid. So we are supposed to find angle between BE and base of the pyramid. Okay. So whenever they say base, they mean by a diagonal. So which diagonal is passing through point B? There is only one diagonal which is passing through point B. So we are supposed to find this angle theta, right? Okay. So we can easily, let me just draw this triangle over here. Where this is my point B, this is my E, and this point is D. D. I can always find the base BD. BD is nothing but 18 square plus 15 square via Pythagoras theorem. This is BD is going to be 18 square plus 15 square, and I have my BD is going to be under root 18 square plus 15 square, and we have already found it out ED. ED is our 24 square minus 18 square and root 252. ED is my root 252 and 18 square plus 15 square, this is my root 549. So I have BD, I have D, I am supposed to find this angle theta. So we'll use tan theta. Tan theta is equals to opposite, which is root 252 upon adjacent, which is root 549. So root 252 divided by 549 and tan inverse of answer, this comes out to be 34.11 degree. Next answer, next question, sorry. This equation can be written in the form, okay, find the value of A. Okay, so let me just expand this equation. Y is equals to x into, this is x minus a square. X minus a square can be written as a square minus 2ab plus b square. So this x cube minus 2a x square plus a square x. Now we'll use the method of comparison. Let us compare the coefficient. Here the coefficient of x square is minus 2a and here the coefficient of x square is minus 4. So I can write a as 2. A is 2. On the graph, on the axis, sketch the graph indicating values where the graph meets the axis. So I am supposed to find where the graph meets the axis, that is where the graph meets x and y axis. So let us first find out that where will it meet y axis. If I take x as 0, so my y is also going to be 0. So this graph is definitely going to pass through origin, right? If I take x as 0, my y is going to be 0. Okay, now let me take my y as 0. So this equation would be will look something like this. I have my equation which is y is equals to x into x minus 2 square. So 0 is equals to x into x minus 2 square. Sorry, x minus 2 square. So from here I can write that either x equals to 0 or x minus 2 square is equals to 0. From here I can deduce that x equals to 2. So when y is 0, my x has one value which is 0 and my x has another value which is 2. And using these 2 points we can plot that. See here, x is 0, y 0, x is 2, y is 0. And similarly we can take another values of x as in minus 1, minus 2. Similarly we can find other values of like x for let's say x is 1, x is 3, right? So we can plot this graph and this graph would look something like this. This is the graph which I have drawn, and this graph looks something like this. See, I've taken couple of points. I have taken x as -2, -1, 0, 1, 2 and 3, and I have plotted the graph, right? So let's move to the next question. Find the equation of tangent to the graph at x equals to 4. Find the equation of tangent to the graph at x equals to 4. So you always know, for equation of tangent we need to have gradient and y-intercept, and gradient of this curve at x equals to 4 is equals to gradient of the tangent. How to find gradient of the curve? For gradient of the curve we'll have to use differentiation. Let us differentiate this. Dy by dx is equals to 3x square minus 8x plus 4. This is my equation of the gradient. Now I am supposed to find a gradient at which point? I am supposed to find gradient when x is equals to 4. So 4 square minus 8 into 4 plus 4. 4 square 16, 16 3s are 48 minus 32 plus 4, which is 20. So my gradient is 20, right? So y is equals to 20x plus c, but I also have to find c. So I can find c. See, I already have my x coordinate, which is 4. Let me substitute that value of x in this equation so that I can find my y. So my y is going to be 4 cube minus 4 into 4 square plus 4 into 4. 4 cube and 4 cube, this is going to get cancelled. 4 4s are 16. So my coordinate is going to be 16. 4 comma 16. So 16 is equals to 20 into 4. So 16 minus 80 is my c. So my c is going to be negative of 54. Negative 54. So my equation will be y is equals to, just a second, let me just calculate. 16 minus, sorry, this is 64 not 84, 64. So my equation is going to be y is equals to 20x minus 64. 20x minus 64. Next question. The table shows 4 sequences A, B, C and D. Okay, first, second, third and fourth. We have to complete the table. Okay, so as you can see, this sequence seems to be like cube. 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, 4 cube. So next is going to be 5 cube, which is 125, and the nth term is n cube. Next 5, 11, 17, 23. 5, 11, 17, 23. So as you can see, difference is of 6. So this is going to be 29. And my nth term, formula of nth term is a plus n minus 1 into d. You can substitute the value of a, which is 5 plus n minus 1 into 6. 5 plus 6n minus 6, which is minus plus 1 plus 6n. Or you can also go by my shortcut. My shortcut says, now the sequence is starting from 5, right? The sequence is starting from 5. So now what would be the term before 5? See, 11 minus 6, 5 minus 6. So my term will be minus 1. And. What is my difference here? The difference is of 6. So minus 1 plus 6n. This formula is applicable everywhere where the first difference is same. Next, as you can see, into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 0.25 into 2. This is a geometric sequence. So what is the nth term of geometric sequence? Geometric nth term is a into r n minus 1, where a is your first term, r is your ratio. What is ratio? Any term divided by its previous term. Let's say 4 divided by 2, which is 2. 2 divided by 1, which is 2. This forms your ratio. So my first term is 0.25 into r, ratio is 2 power n minus 1. Okay, so and now I have my last term. Okay, as you can see, this sequence D is nothing but B minus C. See, 5 minus 0.25, 11 minus 0.5, 17 minus 1, 23 minus 2, 29 minus 4. So my last is going to be 25, and the nth term is going to be my B minus C. What is my B? 6n minus 1 minus 0.25 into 2 power n minus 1. This is going to be my nth term. Okay, I think here we have concluded the paper. Hope you have enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments below if you need in-depth solutions, or if you have any doubts in any of these questions. We will definitely help you out. Once again, kindly like our videos and subscribe our channel. This keeps on motivating us to make more and more videos. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.